The Roman gladiator games didn't begin as entertainment. They began with death. The very first recorded match took place in 264 BC as a funeral rite to honor a nobleman named Junius Brutus. Two men fought to the death beside his grave. It wasn't sport, it was a tribute to the dead. But what started as solemn soon turned into spectacle. As time passed, these battles grew in number. They moved from private ceremonies to public arenas. Rome had found a new obsession. By the height of the empire, gladiator games became cultural events. More than ritual, they were power. Entertainment and control rolled into one. Most gladiators were not volunteers. They were enslaved people, criminals, or prisoners of war forced to fight for survival. But some men chose this life. They were called auctorati, free citizens who volunteered to fight. They signed contracts, gave up freedom, for fame, fortune, or escape. Once accepted, they trained in a ludus, a gladiator school. Here pain was routine, discipline was brutal, and only the strong earned their place in the arena. Some started as slaves, some as free men. But inside the arena, all became performers of death. In ancient Rome, successful gladiators were like modern celebrities. People knew their names, cheered their victories, and mourned their deaths. Fighters like Flamma or the pair Priscus and Verus became legends. Crowds came just to see them. They were the heart of the show. Their fame wasn't fleeting. Their names were scratched into walls, painted on vases, even etched in graffiti. Some historians believe they had sponsors or product endorsements. The ancient world's version of celebrity deals. Gladiators weren't just men, women fought too. Though rare, female fighters entered the arena to face blood and steel. A stone carving from the 1st or 2nd century AD shows two women, Amazon and Achilia, locked in combat. Even they earned names fit for warriors. Were they taken seriously? To some. They were novelties, to others, proof that even women could fight and die for Rome's pleasure. Eventually, female gladiators were banned by Emperor Septimius Severus, but their brief presence showed the shocking extent of Roman spectacle. People imagined gladiators eating meat and protein to gain muscle, but their real diet, mostly barley and beans. This plant-heavy diet helped build a thick layer of body fat, not for strength, but for protection during combat. More fat meant dramatic-looking wounds, bloody, but often non-lethal. It kept the fight thrilling, and the fighter alive. Because of their diets, gladiators were nicknamed the Barley Men. Strong, slow-burning, and bred for endurance in battle. Death wasn't guaranteed. Skilled gladiators were valuable. They were expensive to train, and even more expensive to replace. It's believed that only about 10 to 20% of matches ended in death. Most battles ended when one yielded or was spared. A good show didn't always mean a dead body. It meant drama, blood, suspense, and sometimes mercy. The final decision often rested with the editor, the man running the games. If the crowd shouted for mercy, he could spare the fallen, but if they cried for death, a thumbs down could seal a fate in seconds. And then there was Flamma, a Syrian-born fighter who won 21 battles. He was granted freedom, not once but 4 times. Yet each time he refused it. Why? Some say it was pride, others, purpose. He had become the arena, and perhaps it was the only place he truly lived. He died at 30 years old, but his tombstone says he was mourned by the people. He wasn't just a fighter, he was a legend. And in Rome, legends bled beneath the sun.